But now the water is ceremonial water, which means it's either water they pour over their hands to wash their hands so their hands will be clean, or it's water that they wash their feet with, or both. But whatever it is, it's not water they're going to drink. It's ceremonial water. It's like when I'll go to Mexico on mission trips, there's water I can bathe with, but I can't sip it in my mouth for fear I would get sick. And then there's water I can drink. There's water you wash food with, and there's water you wash your feet with in Mexico, because they know the difference between water that's going to make you sick and water that's all right to bathe in. Rachel's nodding back there. She remembers that from going on the trips. If you've been to a foreign country, you know what I'm saying is right. So the water that Jesus is getting ready to get involved with is not drinkable water. It's ceremonial water. Now, let's go back to his mother. Get in his mother's head. Jesus, my son, they're out of wine. Pretty interesting. The scene is terribly interesting to me, because she's getting ready to ask him to do something about it. What's he going to do? Because changing water to wine is, first of all, taking undrinkable water, and I'll use child's language, killing every dang cootie in it. Or to put it in adult language, making it disease-free. Fermenting it. Now you can pick up your latest copy of Wine Spectator. You know, a lot of wine is bragged on by how much it's been aged. Whiskey as well, and scotch and other things. So somehow Jesus is going to take ceremonial water, turn it into fermented wine in an instant. Now that's a heck of a miracle. That's an aging process. Now we know he's later going to raise Lazarus from the dead. We know he's going to heal a foot, a leg, an eye, an ear. He's going to reverse things. He's going to advance things. He's a specialist at moving something forward at the speed of light or reversing it backwards, like in the Superman movie when he goes around the world 50,000 times so that Lois Lane won't remember who he is. Jesus can reverse and forward like nobody's business. Somehow, who knows how, his mother has some concept of this. Interesting. Son, they're out of wine. I mean, you know, she's not thinking he has money. He's a poor kid. He's not going down to the local package store or grocery store and picking up a case of wine. Dear woman, he says, that's his way of saying, mother, this is what it is. Why do you involve me? Now, how many children have said that to their parents? Mom, why are you involving me? Jesus replied, my time has not yet come. Jesus has a sense of timing from the Holy Spirit. Verse 5 is the theme of the sermon. His mother said to the servants, do whatever he tells you. Now that's a mother that has what? 100% confidence. 100% confidence. She doesn't even know what his son is going to say, what her son is going to say. She doesn't even know. But she just simply says, do whatever he tells you. Now that's confidence. The theme of the sermon is that to you, if you will follow this verse 5, the rest of your life will be nothing like it is now. Even if you're already following it, you know what I'm saying is true. Do what he tells you. Terry, do what he tells you. Rick, do what he tells you. Christian, do what Jesus tells you. I don't know what he's going to tell you. That's what the mother's implying. But whatever it is he's going to tell you, do it. Because if he's going to tell you something, you're getting ready to see something that 60 seconds before you couldn't have thought of in a million years. Not in a million years could you have predicted what God is getting ready to do. You have a predictability about you. You have a predictability that you got a X amount of money for next month's bills. You got a predictability about what's going to be true, you hope, in a year or two. You got sort of a path that you're on. And more power to our predictability. In fact, it's one of the number one things that research says that women need most is predictability. But what I am saying is that you might be predicting struggle after struggle after struggle after this in the next few days, whatever it might be. But I'll go with Mary on this. I don't know what he's getting ready to tell you, but if you do what he tells you, something off the charts is getting ready to happen. Just simply do what Jesus tells you. And whatever he's telling you today, if your ears are there, do it. I don't care if it's unlike anything you've ever done, because the servants are getting ready to do something that they never would have imagined an hour earlier that they would do, but for fear of getting fired or beat. They're going to take ceremonial water to the master of ceremonies and say, here, we're out of wine, but here's this. How about this? Look what I came up with. The only difference is Jesus is in the middle of that statement. He may ask you to do something that makes no sense. Risk your job. Risk getting beat. He may push you in a direction that you would go, no way I would ever think of that, or even begin to go that direction. But look what happened. His mother said to the servants, do whatever he tells you. Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Now, I don't know if you've ever picked up a 5-gallon thing of gasoline, but it's pretty dang heavy. Pick up something that weighs 30 gallons. Now, that's going to take more than one person, and I don't know if there's handles or what, but this is no easy trick. Each holding 20 to 30 gallons, 6 of them. So there's a lot of servants involved, or either that or they're taking turns going and getting one after another. Jesus said to the servants, fill the jars with water. Now this is water that you can't drink. So they filled them to the brim. So far the servants, they're not thinking, why, but their jobs aren't in jeopardy yet, but so they filled them to the brim, ate. Then he told them, now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet. That's a moment right there that is life-changing, isn't it? They did so. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from. I'm sure he would have had hesitation. Though the servants who had drawn the water knew where it had come from. What a great passage. You got to like that, although y'all aren't laughing like I am. But then he called the bridegroom aside and said, everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now. Now, this is John's commentary on it. This, the first of his miraculous signs, Jesus performed in Cana of Galilee. He thus revealed his glory, and his disciples put their faith in him. We have one more passage to look at the very end. In simplicity, do what he tells you. When I was a junior at Toccoa Falls College in Toccoa, Georgia, the Lord called me through a prayer I'd prayed to leave that college and to go to Memphis and to go on Young Life staff. I